One day while the light is glowing, I'll be in my castle golden. But until the gates are open, I just wanna feel this moment.
And welcome to another edition of East LA Sports Scene as we bring the camera into our community once again here at the Hollenbeck Youth Center, the home of the Inner City Games and the Hollenbeck Police Business Council, ready to conduct a very, very big promotion here because Mark Sanchez, the quarterback of the New York Jets and the official ambassador of the Inner City Games, he will be here. And there's going to be a lot of activity going on. Some of the kids from the community will be here to interact with Mark and engage him in some of his conversations and hopefully be able to motivate all the kids that come today here at the Youth Center. As you can see, we are looking at the Inner City Games, the emblem here, the brand, and that is a big part of Mark Sanchez's commitment to the Hollenbeck Youth Center. Through the years, he has been able to raise funds and promote the Youth Center on his travels around the world and throughout the United States of America. So Mark will be here. We're going to hear more about his story and his involvement because his family has been part of East LA for many, many years. In fact, his mom, born and raised in Boyle Heights and went to Roosevelt High School. And of course, Nick Sanchez, Sr., and Mark's dad went to Manual Arts. So both very, very involved here in the city. But today is a special day because here for Boyle Heights and Hollenbeck Youth Center, the Inner City Games, Mark Sanchez will be here to lend all of his tremendous support, both fundraising and in person, because he does like to interact with all of the youth that he's responsible for helping to shape some of their lives in terms of keeping the Hollenbeck Youth Center open so they can come in here and use the facility and learn more about sports and education and technology. So, we're on the eve of, or we're in Super Bowl week, just days away on Super Bowl Sunday. It's coming up, but it is Wednesday, January 30th, and we will be bringing you our production here directly from the Hollenbeck Youth Center. Don't go away. We have a very, very good program coming your way.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can we please give a round of applause for Mark Sanchez and his family? And welcome all today and this evening. My name is Danny Tecum, and I'm the former recipient of the 2010 Kid of the Year Award. And Mark Sanchez has been there every step of the way from his college year to his pro NFL years. And we just want to thank him and his family for being there and allowing many more opportunities for this youth center to be open. And he's a great example for us youth growing up in the inner city. Like, there's nothing impossible. You got to dream big, you know. And we want to thank him and his family one more time for being here tonight. And hopefully he could be with us for many more years to come. And I want to thank Daniel Hernandez as well, you know, for allowing me to express a couple of words of my gratitude and appreciation. And thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Well, Mark, that's what the kids think of you. They all want to come up here and say some words on your behalf because they love you here in East LA and Boyle Heights, okay? We're going to go ahead and get the program started, and to kind of lead us through the program, we have a longtime friend, Obama presidential appointee to the United States Military Academy, West Point, Bob Archuleta, Mayor of Pico Rivera, and also we're recruiting as the board member to the Hollenbeck Police Business Council. Bob?
Thank you. Recruited me. I've signed up years ago. What are you talking about? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bob Archuleta, and yes, indeed, I am a presidential appointee, so consequently, I get to say on behalf of the President of the United States, welcome to our beautiful city of Los Angeles, and we're excited today here at the Hollenbeck Youth Center because obviously we've got Mark Sanchez, who is part of the family here. And whenever you get a chance to get around kids and youth here in the greater East Los Angeles area, you can't help but think about Mark Sanchez and the contributions he's made to the Hollenbeck Youth Center. The efforts that he's put in are reflective every single day of the success of the club. Because here after school, the kids come here to learn about computers. There's tutoring classes besides the gym workouts that you see behind me and the boxing. But here's a team that comes together every single day. And the big team members, of course, are the LAPD, the Hollenbeck Police Department. So let's give a big shout out to Hollenbeck, the LAPD. And Captain Ortega. So let Captain Ortega know that we think about her. We love the support. And I've told the story many, many times when this organization started, and Danny was a lot younger than he is today, but it started because the LAPD saw these kids in the streets and there was a little fighting going on, so the LAPD officers got them together. Instead of banging their heads, they introduced them to the sport of boxing, and the rest is history, because now the kids come all over. And one of the other things that I've got to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, right here on 1st Street, it's something that happens every single year, and it happens because of the support of Mark Sanchez and some of the community leaders, is we gather 10,000 kids right here on 1st Street, and every single one of those kids at Christmas time gets a toy. They walk away with a toy, every single one of them, and it's called Miracle on 1st Street. Can you imagine bringing 10,000 kids together? The governor's been here. We've had the sports celebrities here. Mark Sanchez is here every year, so we just appreciate what he's done for us. But right now I'd like to also bring up George Castillo, who's the co-chair here at the club, to tell us a little bit more about the event today, because today is a day when we're recognizing Mark Sanchez for his contributions, and more importantly, for his commitment to the club for years to come. And that's amazing, because even though he started here at SC and went on to play pro ball, he hasn't forgotten the kids here in East LA. So this is why he's admired, loved, and the fact is that he's also respected. So we're going to celebrate that today, but I'd like to also bring up George Castillo so he can give us a little bit more information on what we're doing today. George?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming today. On behalf of the Hollenbeck Board of Directors, that's the Hollenbeck Police Business Council, I'd like to say thank you, Mark, for coming down. We really appreciate it. Tearing you away from New York. We know you are anxious to get back and get ready for next season. Mark was also kind enough to come down today to film a PSA, a public service announcement for the Youth Center. And it's people like Mark who make a real difference. All of you are standing in here today looking at the facility. If it weren't for the Youth Center, there would be really no place in this area right here for kids to come after school. They can come and play basketball, they can box, and for those of you who have had the tour, you could go to the 3rd floor, you could go to the 2nd floor. There's a full weight room up there, an exercise facility. On the 3rd floor, there's a computer lab, there's a tutoring lab. There are wonderful opportunities for children here to participate. So we're reaching out to all of you to help and participate in a meaningful way like Mark has. Now, none of us are going to be able to do exactly what Mark can do because he has resources that we do not have. It would be nice to have them, but we don't. But those of you that are here and those of you that are listening to these words, we would ask you to step up and play a role in what we're doing. It makes the difference between kids coming in and doing something productive or coming to see me and what I do. I'm a deputy district attorney, which means I put people in prison. And I really do not want to do that. I'd rather see those children in the computer lab. I'd rather see them being tutored. I'd rather see them boxing. And I think that's really Mark's message. Everybody would like to see that. Nobody wants anybody in prison. But it takes resources, it takes money, it takes people to step up and make that commitment. And of course, we are grateful that we have somebody of Mark's stature taking that step today. So ladies and gentlemen, let's thank him. Mr. Sanchez, we really appreciate everything you're doing. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Danny. Thank you. To Bob.
There you go. Thank you. Well, before we hear from Mark, I'd like to introduce his brother, ladies and gentlemen, Nick Sanchez. Let's give him a round of applause. And that means something. Everywhere that, every time I've seen Mark, I see Nick. So brothers are sticking together, and I love that. Well, how about daughters? Dan Hernandez has a beautiful daughter, the executive director here at Hollenbeck, Priscilla Hernandez. Let's bring her up. No? Oh, Nick? Oh, come on up, Nick. I'm sorry. There we go. Yeah, well, come on, Nick. Tell us how you used to beat him up when he was little.
No. I mean yesterday. No, I really have two quick messages. That's it. One are to the young folks that are down here, and to tell you guys that we're really proud of you because you're here. You're here bettering yourself, you're playing ball, you're having fun, and you're making friends with other people that have the same ideas in mind. And so we're proud of you. We want to keep you here. And the second message is to everybody else out there who can hear or has the ability, who can reach into their pocket or their bank account or whatever it is, maybe it's their time, and volunteer or provide some resources to help out here at the Hollenbeck Youth Center. Obviously, Mark has been behind this. There are a lot of folks, Alazeus and other folks, have been instrumental in building this community and its programs. But I think the torch and things are moving on, and we need to have other folks energize this group with their dollars and their volunteerism to come down and make it happen, because it's these young people down here that are going to develop this community and make it great tomorrow. So I encourage you all to do what you can, whether it's time, your money, your donations, anything you can do. Please do it, and thanks for having us.
Thank you, Nick. I just want to reiterate what everybody up here has said today. If it weren't for Mark, and especially the whole Sanchez family, they have provided so many invaluable resources. They have provided so much support to this organization, not just on financial effort, but also they're talkers and they're doers. They're here, and they've been here for years. And again, Mark has been here since he was a college student at USC, and he hasn't forgotten about us. And I know that he will continue to be actively involved with Team Hollenbeck. So in saying that, I'm not going to take any more time. I'm going to introduce why we're all here today. The champion, the person that is the official ambassador of the Intercity Games, a great friend of all of us. None other than NFL quarterback, Mr. Mark Sanchez.
Seems so official when you talk like that. I'm so used to talking to Priscilla, and it's a lot more casual, which I like. But since we're going with official, let me thank the people here today. I couldn't do this without you. And everyone who spoke before me, I'll make it brief. I'm sorry, babe. Everyone who's spoken before me was thanking me, and all I want to say really is thanks to Hollenbeck. Thanks for giving these youngsters a chance to really come here and better themselves, to use educational programs, sports programs to help brighten their future. I remember being here like it was yesterday, that Christmas, for Miracle on First Street in college. And at that point, I didn't have any money to give. I just had time. And if that's what you can give your time to these youngsters, because it helps. But that is a lasting memory for me. And just seeing those youngsters lined up, Santa Claus rolling through, I think it was on an old school Cadillac, I want to say. It was one of the coolest things I've seen. And just see him light up these youngsters' faces and give them the true spirit of Christmas, and give them a toy and make somebody happy and help somebody else. That's what this thing is all about. I've been fortunate enough to have support from my family, from people like the Hollenbeck Youth Center here, Danny and Priscilla, to get me to where I'm at today and be on an NFL team, which is an absolute dream come true. But it wouldn't have started without your dreams here, without doing well in school first and foremost, getting my degree from USC. Football could end. Unfortunately, football can end very soon, and it is a short-lived career. But I always know I'll have my education to fall back on. So I want to impress that point onto you. And then, like I said, I gave time in college. I've been fortunate enough to do something I love and get paid for it. So today, with the help of Big Five, the best part is I told Danny and Priscilla, I said, look, I'm going to give you guys $10,000. If you can find somebody to match it, I'll throw in another 10. So we were here raising over $20,000, I want to say. And here's one of the checks. You might have to zoom in because I literally just wrote it. I'm going to sign it right here with the witness of Danny, our notary. So that's for the youth center, and for you guys, remember, take care of this place, treat it like home, be here as much as possible, stay off the streets, and keep bettering yourselves. Thank you guys so much.
Mark, get everybody up here and take that photo. All right, over here.
Yep, right over there. All right.
Okay, guys, these are your jerseys and your boxing for the boxing team. So give a big hoorah over here. All right, thank you. Now, just so that we let you know, we want all the kids to go over there. Mark's going to go ahead and answer some questions if you have some. He also brought some T-shirts here. He'll autograph, but he only has a few, so you're going to have to be good on your numbers. He's going to count, give you 1 to 10 about 10 times, and then those that win will get a T-shirt, and he'll autograph it with your name on it. Okay? So, Nati, wherever you're at, let's get them organized. The basketball court over there, so he can walk over there. So. And then after that, he'll do, I guess, will you do a personal interviews with the, and then he'll do personal interviews with the media. You want to do it here? Should we do it here? Got one underneath.
And Mark Sanchez returns to the roots here in Boyle Heights in East LA. Mark, a pleasure to see you, and thank you so much for your generous donation here to Hollenbeck Youth Center, the Inner City Games, and our community. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. It's good to be back. Like you said, this is where it all started. My grandma's from right here in Boyle Heights. My mom, my brothers have all been through the Hollenbeck Youth Center, whether it's to help in an event or the Miracle on First Street. We love being involved here, and we love seeing these youngsters.
That sense of family just continues to grow in you as you get on in age, so to speak, and you look back and you say, hey, it wasn't too long ago that, as you told the little kids here, the chavalitos, I was there.
Right.
And now you can do what you dream and achieve those.
That's it, and it all starts at that young age, having those big dreams. And the people at the Hollenbeck Youth Center, they help facilitate those dreams and help these youngsters realize those dreams. So that's why I continue to support this place.
Mark, you're in the off season now, back home and trying to relax for a bit, and then you gear up. You're 24/7, 365 a year in your job and your profession, and you've got to really enjoy the time here.
Of course, and this is one of the first things I've done coming back home is be here, come back and see Danny and Priscilla Hernandez. And they've been doing a great job with the Hollenbeck Youth Center. So I wanted to stop by here as soon as I came back and escape that cold weather out there for a little bit.
Mark Sanchez proudly wearing the Sanchez family name on his jersey week in and week out during the NFL. And we also have seen others of our kids or Latino kids rise to that occasion. And now, Mark, here we are the week of the Super Bowl.
Right.
We see a positive increase in the number of Latino players in the NFL. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Well, sure. I think it's places like this that help these youngsters focus their attention on, one, getting their education and then pursuing an athletic career as well. Having these facilities really helps, so that's why we continue to donate. And then as far as the number of Hispanic players in the NFL, it's great. You know, it takes a little pressure off me not having to do every single Spanish interview. But I've been practicing a little bit. I got some CDs in my car to help me do stuff with, Telemundo and Univision and things like that. So it's a big deal. We love representing for these youngsters, and we know that they identify with me, my skin color, my last name. That means so much when they see it on TV, so we're trying to set a good example.
And that sense of the family pride continues to buoy you, to bring you through some of the times we saw this past season, but Mark Sanchez is not going to go out there and hang his head. He's going to continue to fight and fight, just as a warrior, the Aztec warrior that your roots come from, Mark. And we commend you for that, because we love seeing Mark Sanchez in the role of our leader and at the quarterback spot.
Well, thank you so much. You guys have been so supportive. I remember those interviews at Howard Jones Field there at USC. So we've known each other for a long time. I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Mark. Really, really quick, because your schedule, you're going to be moving around to other locations today, but you also wear the title, you carry the title of Official Ambassador of the Inner City Games. Your thoughts on the Inner City Games and possibly expanding next year?
Well, that's huge. We'd love to expand a little bit. We want to get as many kids involved as possible and keep adding different sports as different things become popular for these youngsters. But all these kinds of social media things, it really helps promote. People like you guys on the sports scene and stuff, that's huge for us because it gets that message out there and gets these kids the exposure they need. And then they get to watch themselves on TV, compete in these games. That's huge. That's wonderful. So we love it.
Two quick comments. Mark, bringing you into the SC family again, you will always be a Trojan. Your thoughts on the program at SC and how do you think it's going to turn out and move forward?
Well, I think with Pat Hayden at the helm, I really have a lot of respect for Mr. Hayden. I just spoke with him a couple days ago, and I know that new facility is going to attract a ton of recruits, the best players in the country, that education second to none. So for those guys even debating coming to USC, it should be a done deal. That's the place to be, and I know they'll turn it around. They went through a tough year, just like we did with the Jets, but that's a part of it. That's a part of the whole process, and it was a great learning experience for that group. But they'll move on, some of them to the NFL, some of them to great jobs because of their education, and I know the program will do really well.
Last question, Mark. A $20,000 fundraising moment, a matching type of an event here. You asked, our Big Five made a challenge of $10,000, and you matched it. So in today, just in one moment, $20,000 was raised here at Hollenbeck. Your thoughts on achieving that or being part of that?
Well, that's kind of the spirit of Hollenbeck. They want to compete. They want to keep these youngsters going and keep them active, keep them excited and engaged athletically, educationally. And so, I posed a challenge to Priscilla and to Danny. I said, look, I'm going to give you guys another $10,000 if you can find somebody to match it. Big Five did it, so we're happy to do it together and raise them $20,000 and double it.
Mark Sanchez.
Very good to see you again.
Our hero.
Always a pleasure,
Always.
man. Thanks.
Okay, we'll see you soon, Mark.
Yes, sir.
And enjoy your time here with family. Okay, we're going to come back here, wrap up East LA sports scene here. We're at the Mark Sanchez moment here in Hollenbeck Youth Center, and he has just been very, very kind with his time and giving it to the kids as well and sharing his thoughts on our questions to him here on his current status and what he's doing in his life now that there's an off season. So we'll be back with a little bit more of a wrap up here on East LA Sports Scene covering Mark Sanchez at the Hollenbeck Youth Center and the Inner City Games. Okay, so Mark and his commitment, not only his but his family's commitment to the Inner City Games and Hollenbeck Youth Center goes back at least 10 years. Right when he was at USC and before even, because Mark's roots are right here in Boyle Heights, his mother going to Roosevelt High School and his father attending Manual Arts here in the LA Unified School section. So Hollenbeck Youth Center and Inner City Games celebrating their 40th and 20th year respectively in existence to provide continuous service here to our kids in the greater Los Angeles inner city area, but especially here in East Los Angeles and Boyle Heights. So.